BookTube, it's Jackie. How's it going? If you are new to me and this is the first time you're seeing my face, hello, what's up? My name's Jackie. I sit on my floor and I talk about books. So that's why you're here, because that's what's gonna be happening today. If you're not new to me, thank you for always tuning in and continued support. I really do appreciate it. So today for you, as you can see from today's title of the video, this is my weekly wrap up. And this is a dual weekly wrap up. So this will be for weeks 28 and 29 and all my reading shenanigans in between. And I've got some stuff to talk about. So without further ado, grab yourself a drink, have yourself a seat. Let's get talking some books. Okay, and before anybody asks, yes, I'm in my pajamas. I want to be comfortable. So I am filming in my jammies. So yeah, it's cool. Let's party. So the past 2 weeks, I have gotten some stuff accomplished, not as much as I want to, but it is getting back to where I sort of used to be. I'm getting back. So I'm very proud of myself. It's, one day at a time, and that's just how sometimes you have to do it. But we've got some stuff to talk about, so let's dive right in. So the first book I completed these past 2 weeks, was Kept by a Mountain Man by Gemma Weir, and it looks like this. I gave this thing 3 stars. This is the third installment to the Montana Mountain Men series. It was an audiobook done by Arlene Seberg and Duncan Cole. Fantastic combo. Oh, Duncan Cole's voice is, so many good moments for him in this one. He is one I'm definitely gonna be looking for again because I liked him a lot. Holy shit. Yeah, liked him. This book does feature graphic sexual content. We have obsessive alpha male, dominant and obsessive language. We have mental health representation, as well as, I really don't know exactly which kink this book really represents the most. So we do have some daddy little idea kinks. We do have some pet kinks. We have some BDSM ownership kinks. There's a lot of like a smorgasbord of kinks in this book. Anything that really involves being kept. If it could be used as described as keeping somebody, it probably is gonna work. Not everything, but there's a lot of them. It like picked and chose from all these different kinds of sexual practices out there and kind of just picked what sounded the best and worked. So it's definitely a unique concept in this one. We also have squirting in this, female ejaculate. Good fucking times. Good fucking times. And we have a joint masturbation scene, which was fantastic. So a lot of fun stuff in this one, a lot of fun stuff. Quick summary. We follow Granger and Alice. Granger is one of the Barnetts, and I believe in the breakdown, he's number 4. He is the third book, but I think he's number 4 in if you go in the eldest, from eldest down. Alice is a nomad. She lives a nomadic lifestyle because she believes that she is a toxic person and she brings nothing but pain and misery and self-loathing to people. And she claims that when she comes in contact with people and she becomes friends with them, she ruins their lives because she just dumps all of her shit onto them. So she feels like she's very, very toxic. So she stays away from people. She keeps very, very close to the vest. She doesn't contact people a lot. And she drives around in an RV and goes from job to job to job throughout the seasons. Granger encounters Alice as she's driving through Montana and her RV breaks down and he happens to be behind her. So he stops because he's a nice guy to find out what's going on, and he sees her and he immediately fucking knows. This is the fastest knowing when it comes to Barnetts out of the 3 so far. The other 2, Bo took a year, Huck took a little bit, and well, Granger before she even knew the bitch's name. You're mine. Thanks for playing. Let's do this. But that's how the Barnetts are. Once they find their woman, it was all hands on deck and there is no turning back. And over a weekend, he convinces her to move in with him. He falls in love with her, convinces her that she's in love with him, becomes obsessed. She becomes seriously dependent on him, and they have one of the most toxic codependent relationships I've ever read in my entire life. And then he marries her and doesn't even tell her that he's marrying her until they're at the courthouse. All in 3 days. Yeah. What the fuck? So let's get into it. Let's find out what worked and what didn't work. So what worked? Granger. Liked him a lot. I liked him. I did. I love my alpha obsessed jackasses. I eat these guys up. Oh, I love them. I love them, especially the way Gemma writes them. And I loved Granger. I loved how he was right there. It's like, yep, you're mine. We're just going to keep doing this full bore. Nope. You're not taking no for an answer. He's just kind of doing his thing and he's not really listening. So he definitely built up the alpha obsessive role. And I really enjoyed him because although he was very obsessed and crazy about Alice, and we'll get into that, just as much as she was toxic to people, he was toxic as well. This pair was, oh my God. I really liked that he stood up for her. Multiple times he stood up for her. And when he said, I'm going to take care of you, I want all of your shit, give it all to me, and I promise I'm going to take care of you. He backed it up. He kept to his fucking word. And he didn't fucking lie like his brother Huck in the other book. So I was very, very happy to see that. I really enjoyed that characteristic. And also, although he did it in a very classic Barnett brother kind of way, he refused to let her speak down about herself. It pissed him off. Not enough to shove her away, but enough for him to say, no, this is not happening. You are not going to talk smack about yourself. You're not going to talk bad about yourself. You're going to quit thinking this bullshit because it's crap. I don't believe it. You're sweet. You're amazing. You're beautiful. Shut the fuck up. Quit feeling bad about yourself. We're going to do this or I'm going to spank your ass. Thanks. And he does just that. And he follows through. He is a follow through kind of person. He says something and he fucking does it. And that was one of the characteristics I really, really, really enjoyed about him a lot. I really enjoyed his character because that was one of the main characteristics that Gemma carried through with him. Really, really enjoyed him a lot. The sex scenes in this book are on point. They're fucking hot, straight up, and they are really fast. We get them very, very quickly. Especially since they've literally only known each other for like 3 hours at the first time they have sex. Had a great time with the sex scenes in this book. I got to see a lot of fun things. Like we had a squirting scene. Fucking A, I'm jealous. God, that was awesome. That was fantastic. And then the joint masturbation scene. Oh, love that. I love the playing with the couples that Gemma does with her couples. Like they are completely free and uninhibited when they are with each other. And I just love that. In every single book so far, there's been no inhibition. It's just full bore. We're going to try this. Yes, there might be some reservations, but eventually on both sides, they kind of talk them through, they kind of guide them through, and it's so fantastic. We get a first-time anal experience as well in this, and that was awesome. The way he gradually eased her into it. There was definitely preparation, there was lubrication, this was fucking great, there's a lot of foreplay, it was awesome. And he wanted her all the time. He could not get enough of her, which is a trait that should be appraised and applauded. I loved it. I loved their sex scenes. They were great. And I definitely read these books for the smut. I straight up do. After the first one, I realized these are smut books and I read them for them and they delivered every time. So all three have delivered in the smut department for sure. I really enjoyed the reprisal of Cora and Bonnie. We got to see them with their guys. Cora is like 6 months pregnant at this point, still pissed off how she got pregnant, still fucking annoyed, and she calls Huck out. She has no qualms about informing Alice about how overly obsessed, over dominant, and kind of pushy the Barnetts are. She tells it like it is and lays it out, and she even stands up to her new brother-in-law, Granger, when certain events happen, and she says, Alice, if you're not comfortable with this, we'll take you. We will get you out of here if you're not okay with this. And I really, really appreciated that because even though she was in love with the Barnett and she loves Huck and we know this and we know that they end up having a happy life together, she still acknowledges the fact that they're all fucking nuts and they're kind of crazy obsessive and it's not going to be for everybody and it's kind of intimidating, it's kind of scary, and with all of that manliness in your face, it's kind of hard to like, okay, no, I don't want to do this. It's kind of, especially for Alice, who she's so timid and she doesn't really have the backbone. Cora gives it to her and lays it out straight for her, and she goes against Granger to do it, and I really, really love that. I love that Bonnie and Cora never lost who they were in the books, which made me like them so much in the first 2 books. So we still get to see them, and we get to see the reprisals, and I thought it was great. I thought it was awesome, and Bonnie still likes to be spanked, and Cora's still mouthy and fucking awesome, and loves to be girly. Had a great time with them. I loved seeing them again. It felt very nice to see them again, for sure. What didn't work? Alice, I understand that the reason why Gemma made her the way she is to kind of justify the way Granger is, it's kind of the polar opposite. He needs to be needed and depended on. She needs someone to take care of her. But goddamn, she was fucking weak. She shows a little bit of strength towards the end, but fuck. It was like pulling teeth on her chapters. And it wasn't the narrators doing it. It was just how the narrator was saying it and what she had to say. This bitch had a fucking panic attack because Granger walked away for 5 minutes to go get fucking coffee. And when his brothers told her that he's just across the street to get coffee, she didn't believe them as she's cleaning out her RV. She automatically thinks, oh, he's tired of me. He's done with me. It's bullshit. It's complete and total fucking bullshit. It was just constant self-pitying, and I'm a toxic person, I'm horrible, I dump all my problems, feel sorry for me, poor me. Grow the fuck up, my God. Because mind you, for the last 10 years, this bitch has been on her own, living on her own, working on her own, driving across the United States in a fucking RV by herself, and in 3 days, not even 3 days, in less than 24 hours, all of that work you did in 10 years just goes out the fucking window because some guy says, I need you to. Get fucked. Get fucked on that. No, that just bothered me so fucking much. Oh my God. And I was like, man, Granger is not equipped for this kind of anxiety. It's not. And honestly, if she had this bad of anxiety, shit would have gone south way earlier than 10 years prior. There would have been issues, okay? Would have been fucking issues. It's just, there was constant arguments of, I'm not a child, Granger, quit treating me like one. Really? You're not a fucking child? This man is literally carrying you from the bedroom to the bathroom and bathing you. He's carrying you to the dining room table and feeding you. There's being needed, there's being depended upon, and there's just plain being you're a fucking parent and you're taking care of a baby and she fucking acting like it, all right? And it wasn't a sexualized thing. It was just their codependence. She was so in need of someone to take care of her, and he was in so of need of someone to depend and want him, that they found each other like magnets, and then it became this toxic little bubble of codependence over and over again. And even in the book, it said our relationship doesn't make sense to people, but it makes sense to us, and we are around each other 24/7. Holy fuck, dude. You've been alone for 10 years. You're gonna tell me it's automatic that you want to be around somebody that much? No. I didn't really care for her. I did not care for her. And even towards the end, when she starts to show a little bit of backbone, like when she confronts her sister, which is the root of all of these anxiety problems, it wasn't even really, where did that come from, for one? Okay, if you had that, where was it 2 weeks ago when Granger was telling you to move the fuck into his house? And you didn't want to. Like, obviously it was there. You just chose not to use it because gorgeous mountain man wants to fuck you senseless. Like, really? It just didn't jive. Didn't jive. I didn't really care for her. This is kind of a common thread in Gemma Weir's books, and it's part of the fact that she writes a lot of really good smut. All the brothers tend to sex the girl to be like cum drunk, and she has like no actual capacity to think. I don't know if that's an actual thing. I honestly don't know if that's an actual thing, but it's used in all of these books, and it's kind of getting a little irritating because it's making these awesome sex scenes kind of tainted, because they're doing it not because they want the girl and they desire. Yes, it's mentioned that, you know, I fucking love her. Her pussy's amazing. I need her all the fucking time. She's built for me. She's made me. All this shit that we want to fucking hear as girls. You know, we hear it. But at the same time, a lot of times in her books, and this is the third one I've read of hers, at least in this series, the brothers tend to over-sex the girl so she's not thinking clearly and making decisions based off of an orgasm-infused, endorphin-drunk brain versus in her full faculties. Like, they don't actually trust her to make her own decision with her true faculties. And it's getting kind of a little annoying, because it's souring some of those awesome sex scenes, because I know there's an ulterior motive, and it's not you want her that much and you need her that much. It's because you want her to make a specific decision and you don't trust her enough to make it on her own, so you're just going to kind of like get her intoxicated. And then she makes a decision, like marrying you 3 days after meeting you. Yeah. Big shit like that. Big shit. Right? Yeah. It started to get a little, kind of, I'd like to see some more mechanics used. And I think Gemma's got it in her. So I'm anxious to see where she goes with the other brothers, because there was one brother that did not want to find his woman. So I'm anxious to see what she does with him. And I have a feeling he might be the next book, because he was the one that was talked about the most. But I'm not 100% sure. I didn't go and check. I like to be surprised next time I pick that one up. So, the other thing that was kind of annoying this book, and this was the only annoying factor with Granger, is that in his internal monologues, he acknowledges his bullshit caveman behavior. He fucking acknowledges it. He says, this is insane. This is bullshit. Like, I should be committed for thinking about wanting to keep her in a fucking cage so she doesn't leave. I should be committed for this. But he doesn't do anything about it. He just keeps sexing her. He just keeps going forward because she's his. He never really acknowledges the fact that he's kind of got his own dependency and connective issues as well. So that was kind of annoying because it was brought up a lot. And it's like, can you either do something about it or not? Like, we get it. I get it that you have your character acknowledging that he's fucking crazy. Crazy obsessed with this girl to the point that he would kidnap her like his other brother did. And, force a baby into her, but she has the implant on in her arm, so he can't without surgery to remove it. So the next best thing is to literally tie her to you without telling her, and sexing her into this decision and keeping her come drunk in an orgasm euphoric kind of haze. Fantastic sex scenes, but you're acknowledging that you are fucking insane and not doing anything about it. So do you really care? Why do you need to keep telling me this? I already know, and you're not going to do anything about it. It just got repetitive after a while. So yeah, moving on. I did, however, give this on the spice scale 4 chili peppers. There was lots and lots and lots and lots of sex. Lots of it. Lots of it. We've got some mutual masturbation scenes, which was really fun. We have squirting component, which was cheers. Cheers. I'll drink to that. That's fantastic. I also really did enjoy in their sexual encounters, Alice was pushed to try new things, but she wasn't forced to do it. She was gradually pushed, and gradually her limits were expanded, and Granger walked her through that. Very hand-holding. I had no problem with that kind of hand-holding this entire book. I thought that was really, really awesome. And there was the dirty talk. The truck scene when he's telling her what he would like to do if he could and his brothers went around. I love that. That was a good scene. That was a great scene, and I reread it over and over again. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It's great. Actually, I didn't reread it. I listened to it because it was Duncan Cole who was saying it. And this man in the sex scenes, holy shit. I gotta tell you this, because this is why I'm gonna be on the lookout for this guy. Because this guy, during He was narrating, so it was one of Granger's chapters because multiple POVs. They're in the sex scene, and as he's saying things, and if you've ever been with a partner that talks, has dirty talk or something with you, or is saying some kind of like, you're beautiful, I love you, I fucking love you, your pussy's amazing, whatever they say to you. They have that breath, like they're overexerting themselves and they're trying to catch their breath, but they're still trying to say at the same time. Fucking hey, Duncan Cole. Oh my God. Did he do that so well? So well. Oh my God. It really sounded like he was having sex, the way his voice was and his breath was. And he was like tired, but he was still going. And I was like, oh God, I fucking loved it. Him reading a sex scene was fire. Awesome. Definitely want to look for him. If you see him narrating a book, check him out. Yes. His sound effects, his gravelly sound effects that he brought in. Stellar. Oh, it was so good. It was so good. The panting, the heavy breathing. Yes. It was so nice. It was so nice. But that was only a 3-star book for me. The lowest ranking of them. No, I think the second was 3 stars as well. But if you do not like over-obsessive alpha holes, don't read this book. If you do like over-obsessive alpha holes, have a good time. Party. The next book I completed was this one. I completed Curse by Christina Marziatis. This is the second installment to the Love Letting series. Here's the first one right here. There you go. I completed this, and this was 5 stars, and I have a full book review for it. I will link up here in the corner, so please go check that out. I go in-depth of everything that worked, what didn't work in this book. This thing was stellar. There is a big-ass trigger page, all right? There's a heavy-ass trigger page, so instead of regurgitating all of it, I actually read it in the review. But here's the list of triggers, people. Okay, the list of triggers. Yeah, it hits everything, and you see every single one of these in graphic detail, more than you did in the first one. Yes, so this is definitely one you want to be careful for. Read your trigger pages. You also have had to read Haunt to understand anything that's going on in this book. Absolutely, have to. Because it's a direct follow-up. So a few things that did work a quick summary of this book. Standing on the shoulders of Haunt, a novelist's powerful second entry in the Love Letting series will shock you chapter to chapter. Love and despair are entangled in the story of circumstance pushing the boundaries of morality, a dense battlefield both pure and grotesque. Grief, a concept yet unrevealed to Charlotte, now bound to fester within her mind and soul. Supported by the hands of a young and kind-hearted Jessie McCoy, she bravely learns to find herself again in the midst of sorrow, only to lose herself further in the process, morphing the woman she could never recognize as she crosses paths with the dangerous new influences and hide her darkest of secrets. There is so much going on in this book. That's just a very brief summary read from Reads is Scary, where I got this book. It was also sent to me by the author for a review. Again, full book review, go check it out. I'll go into all of these in greater detail, but some stuff that worked. Her continuity was amazing because her continuity is so unique. So this book is written to confuse you. If you have not read Haunt, you will be confused. If you have read Haunt, you're still gonna be confused because this confusion is designed to it's designed to get you into this book. She gave you this confusion for a reason because it all gets flushed out. And when it gets flushed out, the pieces that you need to not be confused anymore are answers from the first book. And she brings them over in her continuity. And it's flawless the way she does it. It's fantastic. The new plot development, episodic in nature, continued. Her world building is still on point. And her random moments and random bomb drops of plot, turns, twists, still there. Every trick she used in Haunt, she conveyed even better in this book. She went above and beyond. We got some new characters, which were really, really fun. Jessie McCoy, sweetie beyond sweeties. James Miller, I feel targeted as a redhead with green eyes. He likes them a lot. He likes them a lot. Ooh. I feel a little targeted, a little scared. and maybe a little turned on at the same time. We also encounter Jerry Einberg, which is one of our Norwegian descents, which is connected to Levi, and then Marshall fucking Tillman. Yes, he's fantastic. Oh my God, I loved him. We also got more character development from previous characters with Charlotte. Her arc is amazing in this book, and where she's going, I am so excited. There is a heavy ships passing the night element in this book that does work really, really well, but it's very heavily inlaid because in the first part of the book, literally every character is passing each other. And the way Christina does it, it's almost like a kaleidoscope of a constant flipping kaleidoscope. It's a beautiful image that she's created, and it's phenomenal, and I loved it. I had such a good time with it. Her reveals are on point. We do get more of the spiritual, magical realism explained in this book. We get a little bit more of that component, which is really, really nice, because the first component there is a lot of magic used, but I wasn't really quite for sure what was going on. I didn't know if it was just some kind of weird thing, especially when it comes to the Ravens. The Ravens did some crazy shit in that first book, and they kind of got explained in this one, so that was really nice to have that kind of alleviated and that confusion removed. Definitely some fun times. And we also have some hauntings and some ghosties, and it's awesome. We have got some visceral scenes that are creepy, and I needed Jesus now after that. And you should really watch your triggers. Watch your triggers, because there's a scene in here that I'm swear to God, I read to my husband, he's like, I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear any of that because it's fucking crazy. And I'm scared now. That's what scared me about James Miller. I'm just saying, James Miller, basement scene, you've been warned. You've been warned. Holy shit, you've been warned. Ooh. Yeah. I loved the overall tone of feel of this novel, and this is kind of how it went. It went from confusion to understanding to complacency to unease to appalled to agitated to annoyance to resolvement to shut the fuck up, what the fuck just happened? Because there's a twist in this book that's literally the last line of this book, and it changes the whole dichotomy of this book. Oh, by the way, there's a twist within the first 50 pages that changed the whole dichotomy of the end of the first book. This bitch took you on a ride and decided to say, hey, I'm gonna blindfold you, put you on this ride, and then make the thing go backwards and reverse and flip-de-doos and all this other bullshit. It was insane, but she handled it so well. She did such a good fucking job with this book. I loved it, and I cannot wait for the third installment. However, there was some stuff that didn't work. The ships passing the night is a trope that she uses throughout the book. It is really, really well done and executed in the very beginning of the book because that's the biggest scope that you see it with. But then you see it in smaller scopes throughout the book, and it just starts, if you're not a fan of ships passing the night, this installment will probably start to grate on you because it's used so often. I had no problem with it because I'm a fan of ships passing the night, but if you are not, you should be warned that it is used. It's one of the main mechanics in this book. I felt that some of the new characters definitely resembled some of her previous characters, and when we started seeing her new characters develop into their own right, it was about halfway through the book, so I could definitely see some people saying, hey, it looks like you're just replacing your old characters with new ones. Why did you get rid of your characters originally in the first place? Like, why are you redoing the characters? But eventually they break off and they become their own entity. But because of when they start to break off, it's about halfway through the book. So I would definitely be leery of that. And if you are going in, if that's something that bothers you. This one's spice rating definitely got jacked up. She made this 4 chili peppers. This thing was a lot more carnal than the previous installment for sure. It didn't lose its emotion with it, whether it was positive or a negative experience, but there was a lot more carnality involved, which was really, really nice. And her description of physical prowess of her male characters was still on point. Marshall fucking Tillman, that's all I'm fucking saying. Marshall fucking Tillman, read this book just for him. Swear to God, you won't regret it. I like to call him Marshall Tilly because that's his nickname, and it's now my fave. So, sorry about that, guys. My camera cut out. Gotta love batteries. So as I was saying, Curse, definitely want to go pick it up. It's 5 stars, but you have to have read Haunt to understand it. So if you have not read Haunt, go read that. It's fucking amazing as well. It's right here. So 5 stars, but you do have to read Haunt to understand it. And be prepared to be confused. It's okay. Everything will get resolved. Trust me, she handles it very, very well. But this book is designed to confuse you because of all of the twisties and turns and the new implements that she's created in this book. So definitely keep that in mind. Now, the last book that I completed this week was Augustine and Butterfly and Augustine by Lucian Bain. Looks like this. I gave this bad boy 3 stars, and there is a full book review for it as well. I will link it here in the corner and the down box below. This is the 3rd installment of the Royal Bastards MC series, the Newark, New Jersey chapter. Still a unique form of the reverse harem trope. We have 5 individuals inhabited in one body, multiple personality disorder, all banging the same chick. That's pretty fucking dope. I like it. I like it a lot. We feature forced proximity, graphic sexual content. We have more graphic gang violence in this one. This one's a little bit heavier on the gore and graphic violence than the other installments have been. So that was a little bit different to see. Definitely unique. And dubious consent and religious themes are still prevalent in this series as well. So this was a direct continuation of the first 2 novels. So you do have to have read the first 2 previous novels of Butterfly and Atlas and Butterfly in Pain to understand this book. But in this one, we are with Butterfly and the guys, and we are still continuing to learn about how the guys came to be the way that they are. And we, in this installment, get some really crucial pieces of knowledge brought to us through some new characters. And this new knowledge definitely synchronizes all the guys, for lack of a better word, together to see how they all kind of can work together. So definitely kind of puts them back to what they should have been. But again, a direct follow-up, so you have to have read those first 2 books to understand this. What worked, continuity was fantastic. He did a great job with it. Never at one point in time did I feel like I had to read the previous installments again to be reminded of what's going on. As a matter of fact, in this book, the very first portion of this book is the prologue, which is the last chapter from Butterfly in Pain. That piece of information was so crucial that he gave it to you again. So he handled the continuity really, really well. And again, that full book review, all this stuff will be flushed out even further. So please go check out the review if you want to know any more further in-depth stuff about it. This installment, he's definitely not holding back any punches. This thing hits the ground fucking running, and it does not stop, and you do not catch your breath until the end of the fucking book. I mean, I wanted this one to deliver a punch, and it fucking did. It did. It delivered a hard one, and it hurt. And I took my breath away. I couldn't really breathe throughout the entirety of the book because it was just bam, 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 bam. It was just crazy. It was just hit after hit after hit. We get some serious new plot development in this, and I love where this is going. Oh my God, it's fantastic. We did get some new characters in this as well, and the way they are being incorporated is phenomenal. I'm really interested to see where they go and where their further incorporation is going to be. I have a feeling that we're going to be seeing them continuously. They weren't just for this book. I believe that we're going to definitely see them again, and I'm okay with that because one of them I absolutely fucking adore. I love him. Love him. We did also get some more development on the previous characters. We got some more backstories, which was phenomenal, which made the moments that we have with Butterfly with each one of our guys, knowing a little bit more of this backstory because we learned some more about this wall component that we've learned about in Butterfly in Pain. We get some more information about it and learning some of that backstory. That makes those moments really, really fun to read. It gives you some of their history other than just hers, which is fantastic. The twists in this, huge plot reveal towards the end of the book that literally changes the whole scope of this series, changed the whole scope of it, and it was done really, really well. Had a great time with it. However, I did find some things that didn't work in it as well, and again, they'll be fully fleshed out in the full book review, so go check that out. I felt that this installment really was more heavy on the sex than it was the other storylines. If you're reading this series for Lucian Bain's sex scenes, if you're reading it for the smut factor, you are in good hands. This installment is fucking fire. But if you're reading these installments, if the series for his other talents, this off the wall, over the top, crazy scenario that he's created, if that is something that's actually keeping you in this series and appealing to you, I feel like the sex kind of overshadowed it. Even though we got some major plot developments in the story, there was still more sex than there was meat. But the sex is a crucial component to some of these storylines, because it is definitely the way that our characters convey things that they can't convey with words. So 6 one, half dozen the other. I would have loved to see more of a balance than what we had, for sure. And this one definitely moves very, very fast. When I said it hits the ground running and it keeps going and going and going to the very end, I was not kidding. There is a lot of really valuable and important pieces of information given to us in this installment, but we're not really given a point to sit down and breathe and process it like we were in Butterfly and Pain, when we got important pieces of information where we can sit down, break it down, and process it. And I don't know, but I have faith that Lucian will flesh this out in further installments, because he did it that same way in Atlas, in Butterfly and Atlas. He did this. He gave us a lot of stuff, but didn't really flesh a lot of it out. Butterfly and Pain, he fleshed some things out. He's given us some more stuff. I feel like in the next installment, he's going to flesh some more stuff out. I feel like this is kind of how he does this, for sure. So I'm not really worried about it, but it is something that I kind of wish I didn't have to deal with, because the man can write something other than sex scenes. He's a great storyteller, and he's got really awesome creative ideas, and I would have loved to see more of that in this installment, because these twists were just fucking stellar. They were great. I was really, really happy to see where they were going, and feelings where they're gonna go from here on out. I have a good time with them. This one was a 4 on the chili pepper scene, or spice rating. Heavy on the sex. I would say probably about 75% of this book was sex, or some sex-related activity, or some sexualized scene. Some of the sex in this is very graphic and violent sex. I mean, we have very angry, malicious, violent sex in this book. And to see that parallel to this soft, romantic, loving sex that we also see was really unique, and I really enjoyed the way he did it, because you saw the scope of his writing within these sex scenes, of what he could do with it, and how well he handled both scenarios. I thought was fantastic. I did, however, only give this one 3 stars, but again, I have a full book review which fleshes out everything I talked about and more, so please go check that out if that is interesting to you. But just know that if you've not read Butterfly and Atlas and Butterfly and Pain, you will be spoiled for those 2 books if you watch that review, but I do have a playlist, and that will also be linked right there, so you can see a playlist of all 3 of them. And the last book I started, but I'm still working my way through it because it's weird and odd, is this guy, The Witch's Lament by Kathy Walker, first installment to the Salem Witches series. This is for the Black Hat Coven reading group that I am a part of, with Becky over Beck X Reads, Laura at A Book Circus, and Kaylani at Kaylani Simply Me. We were going to be reading this entire series, 1 book a month, and then having a live show on it, but they all finished it and didn't like it. So I'm the last one to go. I have not finished it yet, and there's some weird stuff in this book. I haven't read enough to really formulate an opinion, but there is some really weird storytelling going on in this book. Like, we don't really have much world building, which I feel like this book needed that. I think this book is heavily relying on the fact that Salem is a real place, and you can go see these things, but it is magical realism. Magic exists, but we have no context of that. It's just automatic, like, boom, it is. But you're using real locations, real things, and you're not really correlating that together. You're not giving us any moment where, explaining that magic is a thing in this world. It's just, oh, she can do it, but she doesn't really know she can do it. And then we have a cop, Jerome, who's apparently gorgeous, who is also insane and has no common sense whatsoever. So that's where I'm kind of at with this book right now, and it's just not even a third of the way through. So it's definitely I can see where there might be some positives to it, so I'm reserving any ratings on it right now, but right now I'm just kind of like, I don't really get this, but I'm not in it enough to really give some good opinions on it. So I will definitely be talking about it later in my next weekly wrap up, because I'll have it finished. So yeah, but that is what I read this week, guys. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you guys all later, because I am not only in my jammies because I felt like being comfortable, but it's very late and I'm tired and I want to go to sleep. Actually, I'm probably gonna go read this book. So yeah. So I will see you guys all soon with another video. Please go check out Curse's review and Butterfly and Augustine's review. They are up and out. Please go enjoy them, and I will see you guys all soon with another video.